Hello people, it's time for another session of Grandpop Reads Puddle Lane, and today we have from the Green series, Stage 2, Book 4, The Dragon's Egg by Sheila McCulloch, illustrated by John Davis. Okay, right, here we go. The Dragon's Egg. The magician lived in the old house at the end of Puddle Lane. One day he saw a strange egg in Mr Wideawake's toy shop. He bought the egg and took it home. So there we see he's got the egg and he's taking it home. The magician took the egg home, it says under the picture. He put it on a shelf in his room. The sun shone in through the window. It shone on the strange egg. The egg grew warm in the sunshine. One day, a little crack appeared in the side of the egg. The magician didn't notice the crack. He was very busy writing a book about magic, and he forgot to look. So he didn't know what was happening, did he? So there's a crack in the egg, but he was busy writing a book about magic. The very next day, when the magician was out, the crack in the egg grew wider. A little bit of eggshell fell in. A puff of smoke came out of the hole. It was followed by a long, scaly head, and a little dragon looked out. Ooh! We've got a little dragon. A little dragon looked out of the hole, it says here. Gosh. Slowly, the little dragon pulled himself out of the egg. He opened his jaws and yawned. A flash of fire came out of his mouth. Dracarys. Followed by a puff of smoke. The little dragon pulled himself out of the egg, it says here. And look at the fire and smoke coming out of his mouth. Oh, dangerous. The sun shone on the dragon's wings. He opened his wings wide in the sunshine. The window was open. Oh no. The dragon flew to the open window. I think we know what's going to happen next, don't we? And it says here, the dragon flew to the open window. Gosh. The little dragon looked down into the garden. He saw two little mice sitting on an upturned flower pot. Uh-oh. There's the mice on the flower pot, and the dragon's up on the window looking down from above. No. The dragon was hungry. He spread his wings and flew down into the garden. He flew straight towards the two little mice. But at that moment, the mice looked up and saw the dragon coming. As quick as a flash, they tumbled through the hole into the flower pot. They were just in time. Here's the dragon coming to get them. But they dived down inside the flower pot. Goodness gracious. And it says the dragon was hungry. He flew down into the garden. The dragon landed on the top of the flower pot. He was a very little dragon. The two little mice were hiding inside. They looked up. They saw the dragon's eye looking at them. They were very frightened. There's the dragon's eye in the top of the flower pot. The two little mice looking up. And it says here, the two little mice looked up. They saw the dragon's eye looking at them. Oh, that's scary. Little dragon drew a deep breath. He was just going to puff fire and smoke into the flower pot when he felt himself lifted up into the air. He turned his head and saw the magician. Well, that's lucky, and there's the flower pot with the mice. The magician's just caught the dragon in time. So that's what the egg was, said the magician. A dragon's egg. I might have guessed it. Let me go, cried the little dragon. Fire and smoke poured out of his jaws, but the magician held him fast. You must learn to behave, said the magician. You can't go around frightening people like this. But I'm hungry, hissed the dragon. Are you indeed, said the magician. Well, you won't eat the creatures who live in my garden. Let me go, cried the little dragon. He's not very happy, is he? Poor thing, he's just hungry. The magician took the dragon with him into the house. He went upstairs to the attic. He put the little dragon into an iron cage and gave him an egg for breakfast. As soon as they were sure that the dragon had gone, the two little mice ran home to a hole under the tree. So here's the magician putting the little dragon into a cage, and the two little mice running home to safety under the tree. And it says here, the magician took the dragon into the house. He put the little dragon into a cage. I wonder if he'll manage to keep him in the cage. The magician looked out of a window. He saw the griffle in the garden and called to him to come up. The griffle was a friendly monster. Go and see the mice, he said to the griffle. Go and see the cats who live under the steps, and the owl who lives in one of the attic rooms. Tell them all to come here at 7 o'clock this evening. So he was looking down from his window at the griffle, and it says here, the magician said to the griffle, go and see the mice, the cats and the owl. Tell them to come here at 7 o'clock. Gosh. The griffle went into the attic room, where the barn owl was fast asleep. Wake up, owl, said the griffle. You must go and see the magician at 7 o'clock. The big white owl opened one eye. To-it, to-oo, he said. He shut his eye and went back to sleep. It's too early for the owl. They sleep during the day. Wake up, owl, said the griffle. That's what it says there. You must go and see the magician at 7 o'clock. And there's the sleepy owl with one eye open. And who's that behind him on the floor? It's a little doll left behind by somebody. It's a doll made of sandalwood. It's the Sandalwood Girl. And you'll find out more about her much, much later. The griffle went out into the garden. He looked into the hole under the steps, and he saw 3 little cats, all fast asleep. Wake up, cats, said the griffle. You must go and see the magician at 7 o'clock. The 3 little cats all opened their eyes and sat up. We'll be there, they all said together. There they are, just woken up, the griffle looking inside. And it says here, wake up, cats, said the griffle. You must go and see the magician at 7 o'clock. The mice all lived in a big hole under the hollow tree. The griffle was frightened of mice, so he didn't go to see them. He wrote out a notice on a piece of paper and dropped it into the tree. The notice said, you must all go and see the magician at 7 o'clock. Poor griffle, he's frightened of mice, isn't he? There he is, putting the note into the tree for the mice to read. Good thing mice can read, isn't it? Can you read? Grandfather Mouse found the notice. Fortunately, Grandmother Mouse had learnt to read from the labels in Mr Wideawake's toy shop. Well, there you go. So he read the notice aloud to the other mice. "We must all go," said Grandfather Mouse. "But we don't know the way," said Uncle Maximus. "I do," said Chestnut Mouse. "I'll show you." And there's Chestnut Mouse, just here, over here. Where is he there? Saying he knows the way. And Grandfather Mouse is saying, oops, Grandfather Mouse saying, "We must all go." At 7 o'clock, the magician was sitting in his chair in his room. As the clock struck 7, 3 little cats climbed down a pole from the open skylight. 8 little mice came up from a hole in the floorboard. The barn owl flew in through the window. "Good," said the magician. "You are all here." And you see, the cats aren't trying to eat the mice because they've been told they're not allowed to eat the mice in the magician's garden. That's good, isn't it? The magician said, "Good, you are all here. You must all listen very carefully," said the magician. "If you want to go on living in my garden, you must all make a promise. You must promise not to eat anyone else who lives in the garden." "We promise," cried the little mice, before anyone else had time to speak. So there they all are, listening to the magician. And the magician said, "You must all promise not to eat anyone in the garden." I think that's a good idea, Georgie, don't you? I forgot to say hello from Georgie. Hello. "Can we eat the mice when they're not in the garden?" asked one of the cats. The mice all shivered and looked at one another. "I'd rather you didn't," said the magician. "All right," said the cats. "We won't, we promise." "Owl?" asked the magician. "I promise to it, to-woo," said the owl. So they all promised not to eat anyone. And here it says, "We promise," said the cats. "I promise too," said the owl. Good thing too, because the magician wouldn't be very pleased. "I'll promise too, if you let me go," said the dragon. "No," said the magician. "I never trust promises made by dragons. You will stay where you are till I have had time to make magic. I must make some strong magic against dragons." So the little dragon is promising, but the magician doesn't trust him. The dragon said, "I will promise too, if you let me go." "No," said the magician. "No, no, no. I don't trust you. You're a dragon." And that's the end of that one. So that's all from Puddle Lane, from Grandpop and Georgie. Until the next time, and we'll see you again. Bye.